I've made over $1 million. I think I've watched an NHL game in my life, and I bet on it for 8 years. I think sports is rigged. I just it doesn't really matter.
It never became an addiction.
Yeah, bro. Way more profitable than day trading. What's up, guys? My name's Alex. I started a sports betting company. It's called Odds Jam. I just sold it for $160 million. And today we are talking about hot topics in sports betting. It's very controversial. Is it good for society? Is it bad for society? Is it possible to even make money long term, or is it completely a scam? So we got a bunch of people with a bunch of different perspectives who are here to discuss it. Let's get into it.
Can you make money betting on sports long term?
Yes. I've made over $1 million.
3, 2, 1.
Alex,
Anthony,
you
made over $1 million. In the long run, the majority of people are going to lose.
I don't disagree with that. I am not saying the sportsbooks will lose. Sportsbooks can cut off winning players. What I'm saying is you could make money, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the sportsbooks will lose. Sports betting is kind of a rigged game because sportsbooks like DraftKings, FanDuel, they can just ban winning players. The house will always win, but that doesn't mean you have to lose. Most people lose money playing poker. There's professional poker players. Most people fail at their businesses. You could create a successful business. That's my point.
Okay, but most betting is got a lot of luck to do with it. You got to have a lot of luck. If you don't have no luck, regardless of that, just like you said in the poker, the same thing. If you're not lucky, you betting on something that you have no control over.
Well, I would agree there's luck in the short term, but long term there's not luck. Like, for example, you play poker?
I used to.
A little. So I could have pocket aces, you could have 2-7, we both go all in, your hand could win, the cards could just show up right. That's unlucky for me. But my point is, over the course of the long run, if you have an edge, you will make money. Like, that's a fact. I've placed over 50,000 bets in my life. I'm either profitable or I'm not profitable.
According to what you say, you're profitable.
You don't believe me?
I mean,
you want me to pull up my DraftKings?
No, it's possible.
Should we get into the stats?
No, you don't have to get into the stats.
The profit and loss
you don't have to do that, but it's possible.
It's possible.
But like in the long run, majority of the people lose.
I agree with that.
I guarantee you.
I agree with that.
Okay, let's do this.
Most
How many
people
here? About 15, 20? Ask me all of them. I bet you not 16 of them lost. All losers.
I believe you.
Overall.
But what I'm saying again is you can make money sports betting. You can start a successful business. The question was, is it impossible to make money sports betting long term? The answer is no. I could teach you, if I spent 20 hours with you, I could teach you strategies that would make you profitable. I've taught my sister how to just take sportsbook sign-up bonuses, the offers they give you when you can first register for a sportsbook, and just rip those. Like, Pennsylvania has 20 sports books. All these books have $500, bet and gets, risk-free bets, insured bets. You can make money and stop gambling. Most people don't choose to because they don't have discipline, but you can make money sports betting long term. A lot of these books run promos, right? You could just do the promos, the free squares on Prize Picks, and just bet those, right?
Right.
But I do agree with you, most people lose long term. And also, sports betting is a bit of a rigged game. Have you heard of Prize Picks?
Yeah.
Have you used Prize Picks?
No.
So this is why I truly believe sports betting is basically, it's way more profitable than day trading. All you day traders, cap. One sec. But this is why, right? What does it say? If I try to bet $20 on Prize Picks, what does it say?
$20.
Okay, I'll press it one more time.
You get paid $60. You win it?
No, but what does it say at the top? It's saying we're not.
Minimum lineup or $5 right now.
Maximum lineups are 5.
Yeah.
So that's my point. Is sportsbooks can just take winning bettors. Like, maybe 100 people sign up. 97 are going to be degenerates who have no idea what they're doing. They're out drinking, doing cocaine. Like, they're not even trying to win. They're doing it for entertainment. So the sportsbooks can just take those 3 players who know what they're doing. They're just abusing promos or using strategies like arbitrage. Those cut them off. They'll ban them. You can ban people, right? Casinos in Vegas ban people. Card counters, stuff like that. Same thing in sports betting. That's my point.
Okay.
We gonna get you gambling?
Maybe I might. If you give me your strategy, then, and maybe I can start gambling.
How long do you bet on sports online or in person?
I used to bet bookies.
Got it. Yeah. We can get into strategies. We'll get into strategies in a bit. Does anyone else want to talk about that question? Thank you. Thank you. What's your name?
Cato phone.
Ko?
Cato. Like, remember Cato?
Oh, Kato. Nice to meet you.
KTOE.
KTO. Kato. Okay. Nice to meet you.
What up with it?
You do not believe it's possible to make money sports betting long term.
I believe it's possible to make long-term money, but not make money long-term. Meaning, yeah, you can hit your licks, you can get your luck, and even with your tutelage, which a lot of people ain't accessible to when they first start gambling. A lot of people start gambling mostly recreationally, not as a outlook that you talking. So everybody's mentality is like, oh, let me, like a friendly bet with your nigga. You just trying to make a couple of dollars. Most people from my area when they start getting into online betting, because we always bet through the streets. So it's not having a lot of knowledge on that, the online betting, the rules and the tricks and the trades. You do it recreationally more than you do it as far as like lifestyle wise. So I believe it's possible to hit you some licks and get you some bread, but for that to be a way of life, hell no, because I've never seen an addiction turn into a career.
Do you believe there's professional poker players?
I believe there's professional poker
but
players.
But not sports bettors.
I believe
there.
Yeah, let me finish though. I believe there's professional everything hobby-wise, or you've got professional spades players, domino players, dice shooters. But I've never seen nobody in my world make that a career type of thing that you can actually bank and bet safely in your mind and with the peace of mind of your family and your kids and your wife involved to use that as the main thing for your income. I ain't seen it happen yet. And I'm 50.
Okay. Do you think I'm lying if I said
that's why I say you made long-term money. I just don't think a person would be able to make money long-term unless they is eating off other endeavors also that probably was attributed to those bets.
I have the perspective anyone can make money sports betting, but most people, you're right. I mean, we asked, does anyone know what arbitrage betting is? That's the most.
That's why I believe you believe your truth, because a lot of perspectives are culturally based. So it's not easy to have this perspective you got when we can't lose in the extent of the average person with that perspective.
What do you mean
bet
by
with the fear of losing, with the fear of flying? We bet to like
who's we?
Most urban niggas. I'm talking about street dudes. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like hustlers that got into the online thing because it didn't always exist. Like say if you got a boy that just got drafted to the league and he making 15 points a game, and to keep your boys out your pocket, you tell that nigga, I'm gonna score 10 tonight and fake a hammy so you can get your bread. What's to block the integrity of the game when it comes to shit like that? Because when you from a certain, why not? It's right there, not, Terry Rozier type shit, just allegedly just putting that out there for people to know the example I'm using.
Right, sure, that happens.
And that's why that infers with that being a career type of number one income thing, because of all those motherfucking double-edged swords involved in it.
Okay. Again, my perspective is I could teach you how to make money sports betting long term. I agree with
trading,
you.
like you can teach me trading.
I don't believe you can make money day trading long term.
I caught that earlier. What's the difference in day trading be more of a risk than sports trading? Because I'm not really educated on that.
So I used to be a quant on Wall Street, and day trading, basically nobody wins long term. The markets are too efficient, right? You're trading against Goldman Sachs. You're trading against these quant hedge funds who have way better data, way better technology, and they're charging a spread. You may ask, why is sports betting different? Sports betting is different because you are not trading against other people. You are betting against a casino who has the ability to take every profitable customer and just say, you're done. That's what they do.
But then another
they
thing
just ban you. They cut you off. That's why you hear about runners.
Another element you're dealing with sports betting is human nature. And anything human nature can be breached and bought. So if you got a player that's not going to be honest, which is always going to be in the fold, that's going to affect those numbers and those lines, because you're saying those underlying conversations in the locker room of, hey, bro, blah, 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 always is going to be in play when it comes with dealing with human beings. So any human being can be breached and bought. So that's just like those numbers. It's kind of more risky.
I'd argue
because there's no honest betting. Ain't no honor must thieves.
Well, I'd argue that if I bet on the Lakers game tonight, I don't know if they're playing. The game maybe it's rigged for the Lakers, maybe it's rigged for who they're playing. There's obviously edge cases of things like Terry Rozier
That's
blowing
always in
games.
the air, yeah.
Right, but that's a little bit.
But it exists. If she
But I
wins,
place
she'll fuck.
50,000 bets, right? If I have one bet on Terry Rozier rigged against me, I have one bet rigged for me in my favor. It doesn't really matter long term.
But you a special case, not a mass case. It's not a lot of guys like you with this story.
But why can't everyone do it? Why?
If people are accessible to the information, maybe it'd be a better percentage, but not every. It'll be a better.
YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be a better percentage.
I'm saying anyone could do this. Anyone could become profitable. Anyone could just take these bonuses. When you sign up for Prize Picks, they give you a $100 deposit match. You sign up, you put 100, you get 100 for free.
Yeah,
you can bet the free 100. You win or lose, you're done on Prize Picks. You could delete the app, and you could call it a day.
And most people do it
don't
recreationally, so everybody's not going to just instinctively seek out the information that you have or that's online to do it on that level, because it starts off a recreational thing more than a life. Don't
decision. Start. Sure. I mean, I would not.
With the basic case of people, just the average person.
I don't think most people should gamble. To be very honest, I am a profitable sports bettor. And anyone who doesn't believe that, I'm excited for you to come up. I believe most people shouldn't gamble. And it's not because education. You don't need a college degree. You don't need to be an expert in math.
You need to know that.
I have janitors I know who now bet on sports for a living. Swear on my life, right? I think the problem is most people don't even track their bets. Seriously, we did.
Yeah, I never even heard that when you asked that question.
Most people don't even care if they're making or losing money. Do you think there's a single hedge fund on Wall Street who doesn't know their ROI or profit last year? No, it's crazy. People bet on sports, don't even track their bets. They're not even trying to win, in my opinion. So I agree. Most people shouldn't gamble. It's definitely bad for society. It's definitely bad for young men, but you can get an edge and win long term, similar to poker. Okay. Anyone else have strong opinions? Alex. Gary. What you listening to, Gary?
Oh, nothing.
Okay.
Just in. Nothing.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
So my thing is, I'm familiar with all those online sports apps. I probably played every one of them on there.
Use a bet tracker?
Yep. But it doesn't have an effect. Because I watch it. Because, if you look at every one, it tells you wins and losses.
Right.
How much you've won, how much you've lost.
Right.
But that don't stop me from betting. It doesn't, whether I'm winning or losing, I'm going to still continue to bet.
Okay.
So as far as long term, I don't think that anyone's going to win long term unless you got the resources to do that.
What do you mean by resources?
Money.
To win, why would having more money help you win more?
Because you can see my thought is you're able to take more losses. You can withstand those losses.
Sure. I think I started sports betting $1 a play. I tracked 500 bets. Once I saw I had a positive ROI, from there I ramped up. That, I believe, is the right way to start gambling. Is you want to start out small. I think way too many people who want to start sports betting, they're sports fans. They completely don't know anything about the data. They don't know anything about the fees. They don't know what VIG means. A lot of them don't even understand what odds are, but they just, kind of dive in, which I don't think is the way to do it in sports betting.
And getting back to what you said about the sign-up bonuses.
Right.
You have to be very careful with that. I'm sure you should be aware of that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them have rollovers.
Totally.
And if you don't understand that, I'm getting the bonus. But you got to pay that same money 10, 15 times before you can do anything with that money.
Sure. Some
so
sports
now it sucks you
that.
in to keep betting, hoping that rollovers, we have when I say we, the most people that gamble in playing cards, poker, playing horses, playing sports betting, we're not trying to hit a home run. We're not going to win $1 million.
Right.
So we play with
But I think it's the mindset that needs to change, right?
You got to be disciplined.
Well, I think the mindset is you're going into something to make money, right? The point of sports betting is to make money. I get it. It makes games more fun. But that's the way I went into it. I'm going to bet $1 a play. I'm going to prove I'm profitable. I'm going to start betting more and more. And as I see my ROI continue to be decent, I'm going to continue to bet more and more. Because what's the point of betting $10 a bet if I'm profitable? If I can bet 1,000 and then 10,000. But then sports books will inevitably cut you down. Because a lot of people ask me, well, why did you start some company, some sports betting data company and whatever? And it's like, get on YouTube, or why did you do all that? And it's because, again, sports books ban you. They just cut you off.
they-
That's the entire reason.
They have a system in a lot of these sports books now where if you say you bet in football or basketball, player gets hurt in early part of the game, that player is void.
Right.
Some of the books don't do that.
Why would they do that?
What you mean? Why would they do that?
I mean,
There's one, I can't, what's the name of it?
I know some do it. Prize Picks does it because Prize Picks' average profit margin on every bet is 25%. So they have the ability to. But why would I do that? Right? Why would you refund people if their bet loses? It doesn't make sense to me.
If the player gets hurt, not
So
loses.
if I own a stock and the CEO dies and the stock price goes down, I don't get a refund, right?
I don't
I don't
It's a
understand.
little different because in sports, you betting on that person to perform, whatever sport they playing.
Right.
But if they're not in the game,
But everyone who bet the under automatically wins.
why do people that bet the over?
I don't know. Maybe you should bet more unders. I love my unders.
So see what you're doing. I'm glad. I'm really enjoying this. You putting your system the way you bet has been very productive for you.
Not only me. I mean, I sold the company for 160 million. We had tens of thousands of users. A lot of people use it to make money.
Right. But we all want to make money. We're not here just to have fun.
So when you've been gambling, right? You've been gambling. You're pretty sure it sounds like that you're losing money. Why haven't you changed strategies? Why haven't you
I've done all that.
why haven't you researched how sharp pro bettors make money? How have you not come across my face if you've tried to look into profitable sports betting?
I don't know. That's a good question. Because I'm on YouTube a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
What YouTubers do you watch in sports betting?
Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you, the YouTube sports betting, I don't watch. Be honest.
Yeah.
I'm pretty knowledgeable on sports.
Right.
So I don't feel I gotta watch somebody tell me this, that. I've tried different systems that didn't work. I tried another one, it didn't work. I tried one, it worked for a little while. But it's a hit and miss. Little luck is involved. You don't know what's gonna happen. Guy might not get on the injury report till the day of the game. Now all week you study. Okay, now Thursday comes, he's not playing.
Yeah, I just don't think that's relevant. Again, I think over the course of the long run, it's just not relevant. Like, I could bet on a team. I mean, there are times I bet on a team who's plus 150. Their quarterback gets injured. Now they're plus 550. And then I bet
So you
on
jump on the 550.
what? No. And then I've had the opposite happen where I bet on a team and Patrick Mahomes gets injured and I basically have a free win. They both have happened. Like, it will kind of balance
I've had
out.
that.
Like,
I've had that too.
it's, you have to make the best decision with the information you have at the time. It's the same way if I have pocket aces, I'm not beating myself up if you beat me with pocket queens because I know I made the right play. I had better cards, right? But the futures, you're always trying to make decisions with under uncertain information.
Right, that's true. But like I said, me personally, I like to have facts in sports betting. And I'm talking about basketball, football,
What facts?
player stats.
Why isn't that already priced into the odds?
Well,
Why isn't that baked into the market?
it might be and it might not be.
Right.
If this guy's minus 110 and this guy's plus 150, well, it's telling you they think that this guy, the stat is better with the minus 110. See, I go the other way. Does that make sense to you?
No, not really, if I'm
Okay.
being honest.
Okay.
What? Okay.
But
Anyone else want to respond to that? Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sports betting is a skill game. It's not gambling. It's a skilled game. It's not gambling.
I remember this face.
Yeah, sports betting is gambling. It got the word bet in it. How is it not? Can't deny it. It got the word. It uses the word bet.
We'll keep this one short. I overall agree with you. It is gambling, but it's also a skill game. So I don't know. You got to pick a side. It's more of a skill game. Trading is gambling. I mean,
But
investment banking is
do they
gambling.
have-
Buying and
do they
selling
have- do they
companies
have
is
Traders
gambling.
Anonymous?
What?
Do they have Traders Anonymous?
There should be.
No.
You
they
should
have-
start
they have
that.
Gamblers Anonymous, though.
Which day traders should go to.
They don't have Traders Anonymous, so you can't put traders.
You can
and
actually-
gamble. It's sort of the same type of thing, but trading as a person who day traded once upon a time,
Did you make money day trading?
yes, but it never became an addiction.
Why don't you still do it? Trading, the market is, they can't cut off winners. It's completely efficient. Why don't you keep doing it if you're so profitable?
I was That was 1998. You know, when day trading was really hitting big. You know, so that was a different time period and a different era.
Okay.
You know, but never once, even during that time period, was it an addiction type thing. Gambling is an addiction.
You don't think you can get addicted to day trading, but you think you can get addicted to sports betting?
Day trading?
Use your flags. That's fucking bullshit, bro.
Wait, hold up. How is day trading and gambling in the same category?
How?
Because you talking stocks. Okay, you talking stocks.
I'm not saying investing for your future, some Warren Buffett shit. I'm saying day trading, like trading in and out of positions consistently, buying call options on Tesla. You are not beating Wall Street.
Those stock options that go up and down in the investments that you make, that you pull in, you jump in, jump out, those are not relied
I
on.
think derivatives is gambling. Investing in the S&P 500 or your 401k is not gambling. That's investing for your future. Derivatives, calls, puts, anything with that is gambling. Absolutely.
So you would say taking a chance is considered gambling then? Because I would consider that
What?
more so taking a chance. So you say anything that's considered taking a chance is considered gambling?
Day trading is gambling. 99% of day traders lose money long term. You are not beating Wall Street, especially when, you know, they have the bid-ask spread.
Well, I mean,
I don't believe it. There's no profitable day traders.
The idea is never to beat Wall Street. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But
you have to
not
beat Wall Street. Wall Street that's the market makers. They're the ones setting the bid and the offer. They're the ones you're buying and selling from.
So then that's to say that I'm supposed to beat the casino.
You can beat the
house.
casino.
How? I can win, but I will never beat the casino. I told you this last time. The casino, when they set the bet, they set the odds to where they're already profitable.
No, they don't.
How they don't?
Books set different odds. Okay. There could be, for example, let's say the Red Sox, I think this is accurate. They're minus 140 favorites tonight.
Uh-huh.
On every book, right? Hard Rock has them at minus 110. It's like buying a stock at 110 when it's in the market at 140. I'm buying that. I'm hitting that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. It is betting with data. This is arbitrage, EV. Like, these are data-driven strategies. I'm not just looking at a team. I don't watch baseball. I don't care. But I bet on baseball every night.
It's all data, but is it influence data? Is it influence data? Are we talking data as far as when you're talking stocks? First of all, you're not talking human influence.
It's actually a good thing for sports bettors that books limit, because they wouldn't all have different prices. Right now, there's 200 sports books in the US. They all set different lines. There's tons of inefficiency. There's lots of opportunity. If books weren't allowed to cut off winning players, the good bets would evaporate, because sharps would put, like, for example, I'll tell you one book. There's one sports book that didn't limit anyone. It was called WinBet. Have you heard of the Win in Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
It was the easiest sports book to beat. They never limited people, and they went out of business about a year and a half after they started. So
the Win went down, period, right?
No, there's still the Win Hotel. I made $236K on it. You believe me? You don't believe me? You think I'm lying to you? What? Wow.
Who is? Okay. I still feel that gambling sports betting in particular is a predatory practice. And at this current moment, they're targeting the urban
I'm not
community.
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying sports books are predatory, right? They do target losing players. They ban winning players. They do target, in general, uneducated people. That doesn't mean that you couldn't make money. That is the point.
But overall, do people make money? Okay, if I have this whole room of people here and they
but most of you don't even track your bets.
No, but listen, most of these people lose six days straight, okay?
Yeah.
And then you win on the 7th day, you've won all their money. You feel what I'm saying? You've won all their money. They still lost. You know what I'm saying? The casino is betting commercials now because they are targeting the urban community. This is why the majority of the promotion you see are black influencers. urban people out of the sports world or out of hip hop. They are targeting distinctly people in lower income neighborhoods, selling them the idea that they can get rich off of sports betting. Predatory practices, and I stand on that.
I don't think any of that related to the question.
Most people lose money sports betting because they're lazy, not unlucky.
Hi. Alex, nice to meet you. Jalen, nice to meet you.
So
I think most people are very lazy. I think the reason most people don't start successful businesses is they're lazy. The reason they're not profitable sports bettors is they're extremely lazy.
well, that's called bad luck. You see what it says on the video?
Yeah. Well, how does that relate?
Because like I said, they're lazy, no strategy, no skill set. They're not trying to.
Wait, I'm agreeing with you.
I disagree.
What? No, I agree with you. I agree with you that most. Wait, what? Sounded like you were agreeing with me.
Nah, I agree for sure, 100%. Yeah, no businesses, not trying to like.
I'm saying most sports bettors lose because they're lazy. We already like most sports bettors here don't even track their bets. How can you want to make money if you don't even know if you're up or down, right? Like
I mean,
I don't even think.
I mean, they just place whatever.
Do you bet on sports?
Not no more, because I have bad luck when I do that now.
I don't think it's luck. I think you're not using the right strategies. What are you trading? Stocks, derivatives, both?
Stocks, ETFs, and like certain companies like QQQ. There's certain stock markets that's going crazy this year right now.
But that's if you're just buying it, that's investing.
Yeah, invest and doing trade options too, and do like a spread as well. I don't just do on the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm a big believer in investing. Again, with trading, day trading, I believe the market's super efficient. And I only say that like I was a trader. I worked on Wall Street. I was the house. I was the market maker. 99 point something % of people lose after a sample of like 500 trades. The market's super efficient, right? You're paying the bid-ask spread. You're trading against Goldman Sachs' quant desk.
Made a good amount, and it paid my car off. It paid certain.
But you mentioned you're investing. I mean, the stock market's up 30%. Nobody's against investing. I'm against day trading. There's a difference.
I mean, there's a risk in day trading. And then it's like a limit, but now it's like just like pipe it down a little bit.
But
trading.
I definitely I think my point is you seem really smart. You are really smart. I mean, you understand derivatives markets and stuff. Is you would just make more money sports betting. Once you learn the right strategies, look into arbitrage, look into EV.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no like strategy. They're just doing whatever.
You agree with me?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
I definitely agree. That's why
you come up when you disagree. But I appreciate it. But seriously, how many bets did you place before you quit?
5 bets on small little bitty parlays on like assists and touchdowns.
I think my first piece of advice is don't bet parlays first.
That's what I did.
Start out with straight bets.
That's what messed me up over time.
And then second thing is do not ever pay a handicapper. They're all bullshit, bro. All the ones I'm 82-0. There's a difference between buying software and paying a sports expert. Massive difference. It's like someone
That's like
giving
on the Discord.
Yeah, it's like someone giving you a Bloomberg terminal versus saying buy Facebook. It's a massive difference. One is tools, one is access to data, and one is bullshit. That's my opinion on sports betting.
No, I don't do that other type of gimmick bullshit.
What are you studying in school? Last question.
I'm studying theater.
Oh, very cool. You want to be an actor?
Oh, yeah, I'm an actor.
You're in the right place. You're secretly a really profitable sports bettor? You're just acting? No, I'm kidding.
Acting is crazy.
Does watching sports help you make money sports betting?
No. It actually, in general, is a net negative. You can go first. We'll keep them moving faster. Alex.
What's up, bro? Damo. Nice to meet you, bro.
How do you spell that?
D-A-M-O.
D-A-M-O, Damo. Nice to meet you.
You know what? I kind of think it does a little bit. Just like, maybe not in the long term, but like, say I don't watch basketball and I'm looking at, props or whatever, I can go like Rudy Gobert 10 threes because I don't watch basketball, not knowing that won't happen,
Sure. I think my opinion is, are you currently in school? Do you have a job?
Oh, I work. I just got out of school.
Do you have like a 401k with your job or something like that?
Nah, it's a little
But
part-time thing.
I guess my point is like to invest in the S&P 500, save for retirement. You don't have to know every little stock. You just know it's good.
Right.
I think in terms of sports betting, actually watching sports in general is bad because it makes people think they're smart and more confident because they're watching a game and think they have an edge when they actually have no fucking idea what they're doing.
You think it
They
gives
don't
you
even
a
know the
bias?
price. Yeah, I think people watch the game and they bet emotionally. They bet with their heart. And they don't bet with their head. I also just think hour for hour, so many sports bettors, I want to start sports betting. If you add 2 hours, the first thing you should do is look up how do sharp pro sports bettors make money. Oh, you'll see arbitrage, plus EV. None of these things relate to sports. They're all like mathematical terms. You don't need to be a math expert. I mean, there's tons of, I know a ton of people who didn't even graduate high school who make a ton of money sports betting. So you just have to put in the effort to learn them. So I think in general, watching sports makes people bet emotionally, bet too big, think they have an edge when they don't, which makes people start out betting really big amounts of money. Like I know 14-year-olds on their dad's credit card who have bet thousands of dollars because they watch every Lakers game. They have no fucking idea what even minus 200 means, right? They just
Yeah, but they're 14.
right, exactly. But I think my point is, watching sports isn't helpful.
I think it kind of familiarizes you with, stat lines a little bit. You can figure out what a player's general range is.
Yeah, but I don't think that matters. I think it's already priced into the market. By that I mean, if SGA's point line is 22.5 and he's averaging 30 points a game, well, it's probably because he's playing the Wizards. He's probably not going to play the fourth quarter because the Wizards fucking suck.
And I feel like
Maybe
if you're
even the third
watching,
quarter.
then you
But
know
that's
that though.
priced in. The books already know that. If you're watching sports, I just don't think that's an advantage.
Okay. I don't know. I kind of feel like it does because, for example, say you've watched the last 10 games of a certain player that you want to bet on. You kind of know if they're on a hot streak. Say if they're playing the Wizards or something, a team that they're not going to play. You understand whether or not they're going to perform good.
But I don't think
well.
that matters.
Why not?
By that I mean, if a player is getting more minutes and scoring more and more points, if the sports books have already probably adjusted his line higher. Maybe his line started at the beginning of the season at 12.5. Now he's getting more minutes, scoring more. Now it's 17.5. It's already baked into the odds. I also think if other people everyone knows historical performance. If I go, do you bet on Prize Picks? Have you heard of Prize Picks?
I know Prize Picks.
If I go on Prize Picks, I'll give you an example. Everyone agreed sports books are in general predatory. If I go on Prize Picks, the first thing they show me is a player's historical performance. Right? Why do they do that? Because it's useless. The market is determining where these books set lines. By that I mean, if every sharp, profitable customer, if every customer who's made money sports betting, like the sharps, are betting a guy to go over, the sports book will move his line higher. If they're betting his under, they'll move his line to go lower. I just think that basic stats like historical data and who's in, who's out, who's questionable, it's already baked into the odds.
Okay. I kind of get your point.
By that I mean, I think actually, I think Prize Picks is misleading people by showing this. I think people see this and they're like, "Oh damn,"
that's out of context though. It's
Why?
if you're watching the whole season versus the last 5 games, those will show you the last 5 games, right?
Sure, but I'm saying Prize Picks. It says this Nemesis Quetta has gone over 19.5 PRAs for the past 5 games. Right? This is them trying to induce you to take a bet. They're saying, oh, it's been green the past 5 games. But this is them trying to induce you to bet the over. They wouldn't be doing that if they thought the over was a profitable bet. And 43.1K people have bet it. I'm not saying the under is a profitable bet. I'm just saying there's no edge in that.
That it's just impartial.
What do you mean?
Because I feel like if you were to watch his whole season instead of just looking at whatever they show you for the last 5 games, you'll know whether if this is kind of an outlier or if it's this is a regular thing,
Yeah, maybe. I don't disagree if we watch together every ping pong game, a more niche sport, maybe we could get an edge just watching and beat the bookmakers. But I think NFL point spreads, I think it's basically impossible. Maybe some props, But I just don't think it's the easiest way to get an edge and win long term, because I think historical performance is already baked into the odds. If all of the sharp, profitable bettors are betting an over, the line's already going to be higher. Like that's not the way to bet.
All right, so you said companies, well, not you said, but in general, companies like Prize Picks and so on and so forth, they're in it to make money, right? Like that's the reason why Prize Picks exists. Is it to make money?
Yeah.
Okay, so how is the algorithm made where they're differentiating to say, okay, SGA is going to have 20 points over or under? Like, how is that formulated to where they're going to make money before the game?
Yeah. It's a good question. So typically books open lines, right? So maybe SGA, his points line opens at, 29.5 because Jalen Williams may be out. Books will adjust their line higher or lower based on two things, right? One, market information. So let's say Jalen Williams was questionable. Now he's for sure playing. Well, SGA's point line will probably move a little lower because Jalen Williams is going to take some of the scoring load.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll move down 2 points. Then maybe, all the sharp, profitable bettors, the books already have them flagged. They're not fucking stupid. Start betting the under on SGA. Well, then they'll move his line maybe from 27.5 to 26.5. They try to balance equal action on the over and the under. Also, you have to remember, sports books, there's 200 plus sports books. Prize Picks can look at FanDuel, DraftKings, all these other books too, to get a sense of, does our line make sense? Like Prize Picks isn't stupid. If they have SGA's line at 24.5, every other book's at 29.5, they're going to adjust really quickly. Like they have, their systems are set up to do that.
I mean, you could look at it like that, but at the same time, like, all right, for the month of March, Luka had 600 points in March, right? The whole month, he had 600 points. Then April comes. If you're looking at the strategics of what you just said of how they're set up to make money going off of the over and under, if you're a regular person, you're going to take Luka for over for whatever the case may be in the beginning of April, and you would have lost all your bread because he got hurt. So, like, it really doesn't make sense for you to look at it like that, like at all. Like
What?
to say, okay, Luka made 600 points in the month of March, right?
Right.
So does that mean, is that going to carry over to the month of April? Like,
No, of course it doesn't.
The
The stock market went up 25% this last year. Does that mean it's going to go up 25% this year?
No, but you're going to be betting based off of what you think
No,
you're
I'm
going to
not.
make money off
That's
of.
not how I'm
March.
betting.
So how do you bet?
I
That's what I'm
said-
trying to ask, like the honest
Oh.
question of how are you going to make money? Because the companies are out to make money. Prize
said-
Picks and these other companies aren't here to lose. So I'm trying to figure out what's the algorithm. Why are they saying, okay, SGA or whoever the case may be is going to have an over and under? How are they setting this up to where they're profitable? Because they're not doing this to lose money.
Let's say, who knows? I don't know. The Mavericks play the Clippers tonight, or Clippers Lakers. Let's make it more exciting, right? Let's say minus 110 is the spread. Lakers are slight favorites or whatever. Minus 3.5, minus 110, Clippers plus 3.5, minus 110. You want to bet the Clippers spread? I bet Lakers. Sportsbook takes 110 from each of us. We're betting at minus 110. So if you win, then they have $110 from me. They owe you $100 in profit. They keep $10. On the other hand, if my side covers, you lose 110, I only make 100. You have to bet 110 to win 100. So when you're betting on spreads and totals, you have to win like 54.7 or whatever it is percent of your bets to be profitable. Most people can't do
But
that.
what is the company betting on happening for them to make a profit? If
the
there's 100,000
the
people
company,
betting,
that's what I'm saying. The company doesn't care. The company, sportsbooks are market makers. The same way, like, when I used to be a trader, I don't give a shit. I think something is worth $5. I'm $4.75 bid, $5.25 offer. The ideal thing is they can just buy for $4.75 and sell at $5.25. You just make a 50-cent spread. You're a market maker. Same thing for sports books. Like if there's an equal amount of action coming in on the Clipper spread and the Lakers spread, for every $220 bet, they only have to pay out $210 because you're betting 110 to win 100.
so they're making $10 off of every bet.
Off of every 220 bet, assuming equal action coming in on both sides. But again, if all the sharps are piling up in on the Lakers spread and the Lakers were 4.5 point favorites, they'll move them to 5.5.
So how do they lose? Like how do they lose?
How do sportsbooks lose?
Yeah, how do they lose?
Sometimes there's not balanced action. and sometimes they misprice something. Sometimes they're slow to injuries. I've seen times where a sports book is literally late to an injury, a player getting ruled out of a game. Sometimes they're just slow. A lot of these books aren't trillion-dollar companies. I mean, everyone knows FanDuel, but they're smaller sports books. PrizePicks is only a $4 billion company, which it's not small, right? But you got to remember, like, PrizePicks is kind of one of the most popular books. There's Underdog Fantasy Sleeper. They don't have unlimited employees. They don't have unlimited traders. Sometimes they're a little slow to adjust.
Okay. So for instance, Steph Curry's not playing tonight. So how is the company going to say, okay, Steph Curry's not playing, so how are we going to make money off of this?
Well, again, they're just going to set lines, and if
Based on the injury report.
yeah, and then they'll let the market adjust it, right? So let's say Draymond Green, after Curry's rolled out, let's say his point line goes up a bit. If everyone's betting is over, they'll move his line higher. If
See,
everyone's
that's too
betting
much
is under,
outside influence for me to like put my money into that. Like, I'm not playing those type of games. Just being honest with you. If I can control the controllable, then I'm gonna put my bread up.
no, but I'm saying the way
physically like or mentally control the outcome of what's about to happen.
the way I only use basically 4 betting strategies. 4. Number 1 is promos, right? Like you were here last time. There's a lot of these books who just run promos. Hey, we'll have a 30% profit boost. It's to lure people in, right? But even if you just play the promos, you can make decent money. A 30% profit boost, the average VIG on a sports book, the average like fee they're charging is 5%.
Yeah.
The spread. So if you can get a 30% boost, it's going to be a profitable or a plus EV bet, whatever. You could also hedge it against another book to guarantee a profit. Then I use middle betting and arbitrage, which are kind of similar. So all books set their own lines. Let's say DraftKings opens Puka's receiving yards line at 68.5. FanDuel opens him at 88.5. All books set their own lines. They all want to be unique. Maybe you buy low, sell high, bet is over 68.5, under 88.5. Hopefully he has 69 to 88 yards because then I'll win both bets. Like, that's the type of sports betting I'm doing. I'm not looking at a picture of Puka on my wall, giving him a fake blowjob and betting is over, dude. Like, that's how most people bet, but that's not how I bet.
So if I give you $500, you guarantee that you're going to flip that. Like, it's like automatic.
I would literally,
again,
PrizePicks gives you $100 to sign up. I have taken my sister, a lot of my friends who are like, I don't care about gambling. I know you worked in the gambling industry for 5 years and had this nerdy ass sports betting software. You can literally just play promos and make money. Most of these books have deposit matches. And again, like, you're right. Some of them have rollovers, some don't. A lot of sports books have risk-free bets. I remember when sports betting first legalized in the US, I flew to Colorado. Because Sports Illustrated, now out of business, Sports Illustrated launched a sports book. You know, the one with like the models who, Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated. They launched a sports book only in Colorado. They had a $7,500 risk-free bet. If you lose, you get your money back. So I literally flew to Colorado. I placed the $7,500 risk-free bet, and then I hedged it against FanDuel, a book I was already using. And you can like lock in a guarantee.
So you started with their money. That $7,500 wasn't somebody else's
No, that's
money.
my money. But it's risk-free. You place the bet, and if you lose, you get your money back. So you can just hedge. I can bet Lakers on this book, Clippers on this book.
Yeah, I mean, technically that's somebody else's money. Because if you lose it, you get it back.
Right.
Yeah. But for you to bet $7,500 of your money, like,
I like your new hairstyle.
Like, not everybody's down for that.
Or were you wearing a hat last time?
I had a hat last time.
Damn. Hi, Mark. Mark. That's my dad's name.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say knowing about sports will help you. So you were saying that you're making a erratic bet. You're betting with your heart and your passion. But I'm saying if you're watching and you're a disciplined bettor, it's going to help you in the long run because it's about a lot of sports is about matchups. So if I know, for example, I have a receiver who's going against a DB and he's locking everybody down and DB's hot right now. And I know that will help me because maybe you said a lot of those betting lines are lazy or a lot of those sports books. So if I have a little bit more information than you do, maybe a guy's injured, but I've been following him and I know that this player's good, then and it's going to help me.
But okay, do we agree that who has the best defense in the NFL? Is the NFL your sport?
At the NFL, yeah, I actually interned with the Eagles, so I was
Wow.
working with them. Yeah.
Who has the best defense in the NFL?
Well, this
Seahawks?
year, Seahawks right now, Seahawks. Yeah.
Right. So if I don't know if if Jalen Hurts is playing the Seahawks, his passing yards line will probably already be lower. Like sportsbooks aren't fucking stupid. They already know this. I guess is my point.
Let's suppose a guy is injured, right? Maybe one of the top cornerback, but you know that the guy behind him, because you're watching, is really skilled. And so maybe the sports books are saying, okay, he's out, we're going to adjust the line. But you know that player, maybe they're really good, but the guy ahead of him is just a little bit better. So knowing that information, or basketball, I know that one center is, really good defensive and the guy doesn't play that well, for whatever reason. So watching, as long as you're playing discipline, if you're like overinflating, sure, that's going to be negative. So like when I was with Eagles, people try to get all information, who's injured, who's hurt. If I'm watching and a guy's kind of dragging a little bit and he's injured, that's going to affect.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I will say, if you could tell me who was injured and who wasn't before the public knew, that would be helpful.
Sure.
But I think that's just, again, maybe have you made money sports betting?
A little bit, but
what
I kind of
apps
stopped.
do you use?
I really don't do it anymore. I used to just do it kind of like in person, but not so much anymore.
I was going to say I'd be curious if it's worked. I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe you've made money, maybe you haven't. I don't think there's a problem with finding profitable bets. I think the harder problem is not getting limited. And this is a very complicated way to find profitable bets. If that makes sense.
So what are you saying by not being
I'm
limited?
saying it's much easier to look at an odds screen to just look at the odds and place bets.
So when you don't have all the information, you're not watching then? You're just going after what? You're just looking at different odds, but
I don't think I've watched an NHL game in my life, and I bet on it for 8 years. Made over 100K betting on it. I'm literally just looking at the odds screen. Just looking at the odds.
But do you
All
think
I care about is where is Circa, Pinnacle, where are these sharp books pricing things, where are the prediction markets pricing things relative to where can I get the best price on a book I'm using.
But if you're saying you bet baseball every day,
Yeah.
right? So you look at the pitchers, right?
No.
You don't look at the pitcher who's
Priced
pitching
into
or not.
the odds. If a really good pitcher if the best pitcher for the Dodgers, what's his name? Yopobi Manayoto. If he were pitching, that was not right, but close enough.
I don't watch the Dodgers, so I'm going to give you whatever. I know Hunted, but yeah.
If he were pitching versus some scrub for the Dodgers, like the Dodgers are going to be maybe minus 400 versus minus 200. Like that's already factored in, I guess.
But if you watch it and you know certain pitchers, do you think you'd actually be able to make more money instead of where you made? Because now you have a little
Not
bit more
really.
patience. As long as you're
I
betting
will.
disciplined. I'm not saying like, like you said, Puka giving him a BJ or something
I will
like
say,
that.
I think where it is helpful is exploiting more like correlation. So let's say, for example, in football, what used to be a really big thing on Prize Picks. Who knows Prize Picks? Yeah. Sure. Maybe someone remembers like Prize Picks used to not have those payout shifts where you could put Puka over, Stafford over in the same slip. And obviously they're on the same team. If Puka goes over, Stafford's more likely to go over. So you could correlate outcomes. They kind of patched that glitch. And maybe, again, I don't want to say you haven't been able to watch sports and just like make money doing that. I just think for an hour spent, it's much better to just look at an odds screen and follow the lines and exploit the books that are slow to adjust based on injuries, lineups. I think NBA is the best sport to bet on, like 3 p.m. as official lineups come out and things start to jump around, picking off slow sports books. That's more what I do. And when I watch sports, I actually try to, when I'm watching a game or I'm at a game, I actually try to not bet. So I think at that point, I just like...
Then you're betting with emotion?
Yeah.
But if you know...
And maybe you can. I'm just saying most sports bettors I see, and,
I'm talking about discipline. Like, for example, pick basketball. If I'm getting like, VJ Edgecombe and I'm watching him play preseason, but maybe you don't know or the rest of the league doesn't know, and there's an injury and he comes in, I think I have an advantage now because I have a little bit more knowledge about that player for that game, especially if the odds, like there are low odds. I feel like now then the odds will be in my favor.
But the way
because
I
have
think
information.
is if you're betting based on watching, I think the assumption is, I think it's basically, why do you know this and no one else does? There's tons of professional sports bettors, sharps, whatever you want to call them. They're all flagged on Circa, Pinnacle, these like smarter, sharper, higher limit betting books. If someone else knows, someone's been watching the NBA preseason, if they're hammering VJ Edgecombe over on Circa, Circa may move his line from 14.5 points to 15.5 to 16.5. Prize Picks follow Circa because they know Circa is the sharp, higher limit betting book. Then Prize Picks will adjust him from 14.5 to 15.5 to 16.5. So it's already kind of priced in, I guess, is my overarching point.
Well, back to the point before about lazy bettors, because a lot of people maybe are lazy and not using that information by not having that. So if I have all the information, now I'm be able to beat some of those lazy, not just the lazy bettors, but the lazy bookmakers as well with more knowledge. If I'm watching a lot of
Have you been
information.
limited on a sports book?
No.
But you don't bet, you've never bet online?
I bet a few things online, but I don't really do that much anymore.
I will say, I also believe, I don't doubt that people can make money on, especially like the more niche sports. I think NFL point spreads like the Super Bowl, you're not just looking at lines blindly. Like the market's very efficient. It's very liquid. There's a lot of people betting it. I don't think you can just look at the game and say Seahawks minus 4.5 or whatever they were.
That's trickier to beat, I think, the NFL,
Right.
because there's
But
so few games.
I think at the same time, it's like once you start to win at sports betting, books are going to cut down your bet size. That's just how it is. And maybe this is profitable for you to just track your bets and bet $1 and see what's up after 100 and then 200 and scale up. Maybe you can. Like,
Right.
I hate telling someone, like, people ask me, hey, should I buy picks from this guy? And it's like, well, probably fucking not if he's saying he's 12-4 and he never loses or whatever. Like, that's probably not the guy to buy sports betting picks from.
Right.
I also think picks are very misleading because there's no price associated. Like, I think it's a complete lie to say buy face or I'm betting the Lakers tonight, which is what a lot of people say. They don't even give you a price. It's kind of like being like, I bought Bitcoin, and it's like, well, okay, at 50K or 70K or what? So,
Right.
Thank you.
All right, cool.
Appreciate
Good
it.
talk to you.
My question is, if it was such a direct formula or a guaranteed way to work, why aren't people like publishing publications on that? Or
They are.
just say, for instance, if I had that knowledge, okay,
Yeah.
and I knew this, if everybody in here gambled, my hustle would be to y'all bring me y'all money, and I'm going to guarantee you're going to make money because I have this
Right.
formula here to where we're not going to lose, you know. And I believe, like, why isn't that such a thing? If there were those
A
different
few
methods,
things. I would say there are a lot of sharp professional sports bettors who have written books.
Mhm.
Nobody reads it. I mean, has anyone here read 0 to 1?
Never heard of it.
Okay, so 0 to 1 is Peter Thiel's book. He's worth like whatever, $50 billion. It's how exactly I start businesses and how I would. Everyone here likes money, I assume.
Mhm.
None of us have fucking, well, I have, but like nobody reads it because like most people don't know about it. And it's like most people don't care. It's not what they do for fun. There's a lot of books on the math behind gambling. Nobody cares. Most people don't even track their bets.
Well, I'm talking about the people who
Second
do
question.
care, though.
What?
I'm talking about the people who do care, the people who do gamble, and like just say for instance, I'm gambling, I'm losing, and I don't want to lose anymore. I'm finna lose my home or whatever. You know, can I turn to this formula? Can I turn to these books and be able to say, you know what, I'm gonna stop the bleeding now?
Some
and
people
turn
do.
this all the
Some
way
people
around?
do, but not enough people. I would say most people, they first of all don't even track their bets. Second of all, what I will give you is sports betting is a predatory industry. The sports books, also there's a lot of scammers, right? Anyone heard of Vegas Dave?
Yeah.
Claims he went 82-0 on the NBA. That's obviously the biggest fucking lie. It's statistically impossible. But
Yeah.
like people fall for it. So then, you know, you're kind of competing in a scummy industry. It's the same thing with investing, right? Warren Buffett says, here's what you should do if you're 20 or 30 or 40 and want to save your money. But there's also a lot of bullshitters who say day trade crypto or buy this meme coin or NFT. There's a lot of stuff to weed through. The final thing, why can't you just pool money together? One, if you're the profitable sports bettor, we've already went through it, right? You'll get cut down. So that doesn't work. But also, if I say, hey, what's your, sign up for a sports book, give me your login. Like you do that with your friend or something. People do that, but it's technically illegal. So you can't like blast that out.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like these kids who gamble, they have their mom sign up. There's so many high school kids who gamble, right? On these sports books. It's crazy. It's honestly horrible. But again, all you need is your parents' first, last name, birthday for some of them to put in money. Sometimes you need the last four of the social, and then you're good to go. But you can't like productize that.
So just say, for instance, I'm taking it very seriously, and I want to really, 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 really get into it. So
you're changing your tune.
No, I'm saying, no, I'm not. What I'm asking you, and I'm trying to prove a point to the people is, so you're basically saying there's no, again, guaranteed way that I'm going to always basically not lose.
I said there is arbitrage. There is arbitrage. Arbitrage betting. There are ways. I think my point is a lot gets muddied because a lot of people want to, maybe they want advice from someone they see themselves in, right? Again, Peter Thiel 0 to 1. No one here's read it. I'm sure we've all taken business advice or money advice from somebody, but none of us are doing it from the guy worth $50 billion who has created some of the biggest companies in the world. Why? Maybe we think he's too smart or he's too, he's not, whatever.
Or maybe we just haven't got to his book yet, and we've read other books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and 7 Steps to Empowerment, and all the other different financial books.
There's others, but you understand my point is I think there's a lot of people who want to think sports betting is as easy as buying somebody's pick of the day, $50, and they just win 24/7. Like they think it's a get rich quick scheme. I don't know.
I mean, well, don't most people when they gamble, when you play the lottery, any of that is to get rich quick. Nobody looks at it as a long-term job.
I disagree.
Something. Now you're different. You're different. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not the average.
I don't think.
Better.
Yeah, but I would say
person who looks at it in the average person's lens, who just got a couple of dollars and watch a game and say, "I want to bet. See if I could." The Lakers is winning like a mug right now. You know what I'm saying? They on a 50-game winning streak. I'm gonna go down here and put some money on it on this next game because I know I'm gonna win.
I don't think most professional poker players or really good poker players are doing it to get rich quick. I think they have an edge. And you can quantify this. A lot of poker players will say, I think I have, a 5% edge versus the house or versus the other people at the table. So if we play through $10,000, that means, $500 essentially I'm making an hour. I'm going to have losing streaks, winning streaks, but I'll make money long term. I think the thing is people want to get rich quick. Everyone wants to believe there's some magic guy who knows the future and is selling a winning parlay that turns $1 into 50,000. Nobody wants to hear that it's a grind. You have to place a lot of bets. The same way nobody wants to hear Warren Buffett's advice that, the best way to get rich is save money, invest for retirement, and continue saving money. No one wants to hear that. Everyone wants to hear about the meme coin that can make you a millionaire. Same thing in sports betting. There's a reason sports books, all they advertise, if you go to FanDuel on social media, the only thing they're going to show you is a $1 to $1 million parlay win, right? They're not going to show you a $1 to $1.50 bet, So I agree with you. I mean, it's predatory and people want to get rich quick and most people don't seek out what are actual ways to win.
So if you make a career out of it, you're saying it can be profitable instead of just gambling for fun.
Not a career. You can do it as a side hustle. I did it as a side hustle. I bet on sports for 2 years before I started my company. Just for fun, side hustle.
I can dig it.
If your company is making money, What made you switch to the other side and become not the better, but you're preying on the better?
Oh, I don't work at a sports book. I'm not in the industry. I sold my company a year and a half ago.
But you did have a company.
Yeah, but it was like a Bloomberg terminal. We just show the data. We're not taking bets.
Oh, okay. I thought you were taking a bet.
No. We don't take bets. I don't think it's a business I'd want to
And the
do.
next question is, in the gambling industry, do you feel that the gambling industry is more profitable when the economy is at its worst or at its best?
That's a great question. I think it's hard now because I think gambling has just gotten more profitable for the companies because it's legalized in more and more states. And then you also have these prediction markets, Kalshi, Poly Market, maybe you've seen, that, basically it's gambling everywhere, 18 plus on anything.
True.
The price of Bitcoin, elections, you can bet on anything. So I think gambling, it's a good question though.
The difference in gambling now and let's say 20 years ago, your paycheck made it to take care of X, Y, Z. Nowadays, your paycheck doesn't make it. So now you take that same paycheck and you go out and you gamble to make those ends meet, which is like a dark hole that you're basically digging into. You might be the exception to the rule as far as the profit, but there's no actual gambler that is the actual winner.
What? Yes, there is.
No, I disagree.
Again, we
on a basis, say a 1 to 10 basis, there's a certain percentage.
most
that is,
most don't.
Yeah, true.
I think there are a lot. Again, our company was just sports betting data. Like, there's no picks. There's no, hey, you got to bet on the Lakers tonight. It's just the data, the odds, and we had tens of thousands of customers, and were bought for a big amount of money. So people obviously think it's valuable. A lot of people, right? Golden Tate is a customer, Super Bowl champion. There's a lot of ex-NFL players who use the product. There's, accountants, all different types of people. I think most people just don't take the time to learn, or they get burned so bad by a sports book or their own betting strategy. So many people start sports betting and, hey, sports betting's a scam. There was a handsome guy in here who mentioned he had to, I think he tried gambling when he was in Vegas and then had to move back in with his mom because he lost so much money, but he had no idea what he was doing, right? Like, you have to learn the strategies. You have to start small. You have to track your bets. Like, it's a process.
Do you feel that the gambling industry, as far as sports betting, has changed because of the college getting paid now to pay?
The NIL?
Yes.
I think,
like you said, your average kid at school, he's a professional football player, whatever, or he's a student, but now he's absorbed this gambling technique, and now he wants to go out and gamble instead of graduating. He wants to be a.
I definitely think NIL has impacted college betting, but I think even more than that, the fact that you can bet on college players is crazy to me. I don't think that necessarily should be allowed. I think it's crazy that I can be in college and live next to an NFL player, a college football player, and I can know if he's injured, if he's not injured, if he's playing, if he's not playing. And again, these guys are, most of them, some have NIL deals, but a lot of them aren't even making money.
Do you feel that AI has changed the whole industry as far as gambling is concerned? I know it has as far as in poker gaming cards, because the average person can't keep up with the technology. But do you feel that it's changed the whole industry?
Yeah, I would say it will. I think the main problem right now with AI is its access to real-time data isn't good. Like, if you ask AI, what's the latest? Is Anthony Edwards playing tonight? It doesn't have a good answer. If you say, what are the current odds, or within the past 2 minutes, what are the odds on FanDuel, DraftKings? It won't have it. So I think that's kind of the limitations of AI. I mean, there are times, I remember last MLB season, I was just or maybe it was 2 seasons ago, I don't really remember, but I was looking at ChatGPT for bets, and it completely missed some of the trades. I asked for bets on the Twins, like Royce Lewis or something, or he was already traded. It's not super up to date with that stuff. Same thing with financial data. It'll almost certainly get better, but right now it's like the real time price data isn't that great.
Yes, correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike, right? Get up here.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. So just going off what my brother said, as far as you making a booker and stuff like that, like for you being profitable, why don't you have like a subscription based service? Like for instance, right? People pay personal trainers, right? Like monthly for gym like help and assistance, the stuff that they could go do themselves. So why don't people pay you a subscription for you to like give them the insider information that you're saying that's guaranteed for people to win? Why don't people pay you a subscription and then for that month you like show them whatever the picks are for them to make profit?
Yeah. I would say it's a couple main things. I mean, I worked in the sports betting industry. I had a company, but it was just the data. I don't believe as much in selling individual picks because I think the price changes too much. Like if I give out a bet at minus 130 and a guy sees it 2 hours later, I didn't recommend the bet at minus 150. If I give you a trade and I tell you to buy something at $130 and you buy it at 150. So I think that's kind of the issue with pick selling. One issue I had. And then the second thing is just like, I mean, I have a non-compete. I can't have another sports betting business for a couple of years because I started a sports betting. Like I sold a sports betting business. I just have a non-compete.
Got you. Well, I was just saying as far as like how you're saying if you had $750, like you started off of using your own money, but it was off of when you went to Colorado and
7.5K.
7.5K.
Risk-free bet.
And you were supposed to get that back.
If you lose.
Have you seen anything like that since then?
I can actually show you something insane. You excited?
Very.
So when DraftKings, don't sound too excited.
Don't you see it written all over my face?
So when DraftKings first launched, this is actually one of the main things that got me hooked on sports betting. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is what kind of got me hooked on sports betting. Read it.
The top?
Yeah.
All right, let me see here. All right, with baseball crowning a champion.
No, come on. The $5,000 part.
Oh, that part. Last call, 1 week left. Get $5,000 in free bets for referring your friends.
They were giving away, that's how I got hooked, is my boss at work told me, yo, you sign up for DraftKings, you put in $5,000, they give you $5,000, they give me $5,000. And then I signed up, you could only do a max of 5 people. So I literally called everyone. But because when sportsbooks first launched, like DraftKings, when they first launched, they were losing $1 billion a quarter because all they were trying to do was market. They didn't care if they were making money. They had a $2,000 sign-up bonus, I think, initially, no rollover. You sign up for DraftKings in one of the 5 states where it's legal. You put in $2,000, you get $2,000 for free. You bet that once, and you can hedge it against a different book. They're giving you $2,000 for free. You put in $2,000.
First of all, nothing in the world is free. They're counting on you getting addicted so you can go back and and do it again. And they're prioritizing markets of people who can't afford to lose. Why is Drewski on my TV screen selling me this? Like that. First of all, y'all not selling this to rich people. Y'all selling this to people that really can't afford to lose, and that's not cool.
Yeah. So I will say the average sports book, you are completely right. They make $1,000 per year off the average customer. That's their LTV approximately. So, you know, if a sports book gets someone, they may lose $10,000. They may be slightly profitable, whatever. The sports book on average is making $1,000 per year. That's why they offer these bonuses. And you're right. Like, I mean,
it's not being
you're right. Sports
to Wall Street Journal people, like people that are
there's a lot
echelon. I don't really feel like the commercials
there's a lot about Kalshi and Poly Market.
I don't really see those commercials being geared to those people though.
I will say too, there's
just like
a lot of it's mass marketing, right? You mentioned a specific influencer. I don't know. Every NBA game I turn on nowadays, there's a point spread associated in some sportsbook marketing. Same thing with the UFC. It's in front of everyone. Definitely maybe, they try to use certain influencers to target certain demographics. I can't argue with that. I don't know.
I definitely feel like that.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Kevin Durant's with FanDuel.
Yeah.
LeBron with DraftKings.
They getting paid to do that. So like, of
Which
course,
is crazy because I thought NBA players weren't they're not allowed to gamble, but they can promote. So look, I'm not saying the industry's perfect. Again, the entire premise is you make money off these companies and in these sports books.
Yeah.
That's
I just
my
feel like
point.
the 5,000s and the offer free bets.
But that's
and all
crazy.
That.
Is that not the
they're luring
craziest
you
thing
in.
you've ever seen?
Just like when you go to a
It's
casino.
$5,000.
When you go to a casino, when you sign up, they give you free perks and all that just to go in there, and you lose that, and then you dig into your own pocket. It's set up like
Yeah,
that.
but again, that's discipline. Like I went to the Bahamas. I agree. They gave me $200 in free slot chips. I played it. I fucking lost it all, obviously. I'm not like going and getting more. That's kind of discipline.
Yeah. There's been some type of scientific research where they feel like if we give these people this money and they lose it, they're going to dig into their own savings.
Because there's certain people who do. Right? It's the same thing with nicotine. It's the same thing with a lot of things is some people won't get addicted. Some people will. But again, maybe I'm addicted to gambling, but
it's funny that you're putting
most people don't try to
nicotine and
improve.
gambling in the same
Well,
boat.
most people don't try to improve. I think that's the biggest problem with sports betting is, again, a lot of people here bet. Most people don't track their bets. That's crazy to me because it's just basically you're saying I don't even give a fuck if I won or lost. Like I'm just doing this to do it.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
I agree with that.
Do you think sports is rigged, and how does that impact your betting?
It's hard sitting down. I got this. I do think sports are rigged, absolutely, 100%.
I think some sports in some games, for sure. I'm not disagreeing, especially the more niche leagues. Ping pong, CS2, esports, it definitely happens all the time. I just don't really care.
I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter for what you're doing, but yeah, they're definitely rigged. Like these people own these teams, and it wouldn't make sense if they didn't rig it. Like winning, you want to make a profitable business, so they'll ensure that everyone on their side is winning consistently, just like how the casinos are rigged or other stuff like that.
Yeah. Sure. I agree. Again, I think sports is rigged. I just it doesn't really matter. Like, for example, arbitrage is a strategy. When two sports books have such different odds, you can bet equal and opposite outcomes. SGA over on one book, under on a second book, guarantee a profit. I don't care if he's rigged it at that point to go over under. I think a lot of it is I'm a big believer you need to bet with volume. Most sports books, as you start winning, they start to cut your bet size down to $200 a bet, then $100 a bet, then $50 a bet. So you need to place a lot of bets to actually get an ROI, a positive ROI. These markets aren't liquid enough where you can bet, $10,000 per play if you're a winning sports bettor. Prize Picks, they only give me $5. So I basically deleted the app aside from this video. If you don't care about public money percentage or some stupid shit like that, even if sports is rigged 1 out of 10 NBA games, which is not accurate, I think it just doesn't impact me much because I'm not in on the rigging. A few games may be rigged in my favor, a few against me. I also think that it's very overblown because I think a lot of people like to make excuses for losing, especially if they're selling something. Hey man, buy my picks. I'm an expert. You give out Lakers, Luka gets injured, sports is rigged, right? This was planned, whatever. It's well, no, your bet just lost. And maybe you had an unlucky beat. Look at UConn Duke, right? You see that game? You like college basketball?
No.
Right. You'll see tons of people all over Twitter. It's who had Duke? It's oh, this game was rigged. And it's no, dude, Duke just fucking sucks and blew the lead and they hit a lucky shot. It's you just lost money and you don't want to own up to, I lost money and I gave out Duke or whatever. People love to make excuses. That's my opinion.
This is true.
It's everyone who told me to buy Bitcoin when it was at 110 grand. They got a lot of excuses.
Yeah, ultimately people don't want to be wrong, so
Yeah.
find any excuse to not be wrong.
Yeah. My man.
So you say your two current strategies are promos and inefficiencies in the market.
I would say that's basically everything.
Do you think those strategies will last forever?
That's a good question. I do think yes.
Why? Elaborate. Because right now, I think like gambling's fairly new in a lot of states. So they're giving a lot of promos, but those promos aren't going to be there forever. I feel like they're going to take them away, or it's not going to be a viable strategy. So, or the more people who use promos, it's like, oh, we're losing money now. Now we got to switch it up. So like, how do you feel about strategies? I feel like to be profitable, you have to keep switching up your strategies. Like, could you say a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think promos will be around. I just think they'll get worse. Like DraftKings, unfortunately, they no longer have $5,000 to refer a friend. Like they're more in profitability mode, but they still do have promos. A lot of these books, I mean, anyone who uses Prize Picks, you see free squares from time to time, maybe less than they had before, but they run promos.
Yep.
So you can even just make money. There was a kid I met, UCLA student, who was solely betting promos, right? That's all he was betting was promos, and he was making, whatever, somewhat decent money. Not a ton, but like a decent side hustle, especially for a college student with very little capital.
10 years from now, you think that will still be a thing?
Sportsbooks will still run promos. They still do in Europe, and sports betting has been around a lot longer. Arbitrage will still exist because, again, if I'm a sports book, it's a lot harder to have perfect lines
what if
than
they
to limit all the smart people, because very few customers they get will be sharp, or they call them advantage players.
Yeah.
And then they'll cut down their bet size. Your account's been flagged. You're an advantage player. There's very few advantage players.
What if like AI comes in, all these different sports books come together and they're like, all right, so there's no inefficiencies. We're going to share real-time data. So they're like, we can kind of control the market a little better. So there's no advantage towards the person looking for those inefficiencies.
I don't think they care.
You know, maybe.
Well, by that I mean I think they make so much money that's not their focus. Like FanDuel wants to have their own unique odds, because if FanDuel and DraftKings have the same odds, they don't control their own destiny. Like FanDuel was the first one to release same game parlays.
Yeah.
You bet?
Yeah.
So
sometimes.
so like same game parlay, you can pair picks in the same game and there's some correlation or whatever. FanDuel was the first one to do it.
Yeah.
They want to control their pricing so they can innovate, or that's what they say at least. Again, I just don't think they really care, because they can just say, if you're smart, if you're profitable, we're limiting you, we're banning you. It's a very simple business model. And so arbitrage, it existed 20 years ago in Europe and Australia where sports betting's been legal. It still exists. It's a simple playbook for these casinos.
What if more people get access to be able to do arbitrage betting? So let's say AI now gets access to real-time sports books. I feel like that could cause a change. Like, I feel like we're getting to a point where information, like you can get information really quick now. So it's like arbitrage, I feel like, is people who have access to like all the different sports books and all the different lines and everything, and you're quick on your feet and you can make a quick bet, and it could probably become profitable. But I feel like that's a strategy that could change if a lot of people start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you think can happen in the future, is going to happen? Or
look, I don't,
like right now I can see it being profitable. I feel like it's just not a long-term strategy to making money. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Again, I agree with you. I mean, I thought about that for a while. Is even when I started my business, I was like, well, if we have this arbitrage software, how many people need to use it before sportsbooks get smarter?
Yeah.
The thing is they make so much money off the average recreational player. Prize Picks for a 2-pick parlay, like Prize Picks sets their lines to be about 50-50.
Yeah.
Like SGA, whatever. Have you used Prize Picks?
No, I use FanDuel, DraftKings.
Okay.
Probably. I don't use it a lot.
So Prize Picks, like you make 2 picks, you get a plus 200 odds on every parlay.
Yeah.
So they're giving you plus 200 but you need to win 2 picks, which is 50% on 50%, 25%.
Yeah.
Like Prize Picks has a profit margin of 25% on a 2-pick parlay.
Yeah.
3-pick, it's even more. It's like 40 something. So they make so much money. Again, I don't think they really care about dialing in lines perfectly. Maybe at some point they will, but I think what's way easier for the sports book is they can just limit faster.
Okay.
They can just cut people off faster.
Yep, that makes sense. But like, that's why I think in my opinion, it should be illegal. Because
Illegal?
I think gambling should be illegal. I feel like why can you cut off winners?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
True.
Like what? Like you're just gambling. It's a mathematical equation.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree. I think you can make the same argument about day trading.
But
in many ways, right? But I think the truth is it a basic American freedom to be able to invest in stocks? We all agree with that. Everyone should be allowed to invest their money and buy Google stock and stuff like that. I think basically everyone would agree with that. Should you be able to trade risky call options out of the money, like these complex trading strategies? Probably not. But like, what line do you want to draw is very hard. And people will do it illegally. That's why gambling legalized here. That was the main argument, is everyone is doing it with the mafia.
Yeah.
People are doing it offshore on these sketchy Costa Rican sites and putting in Bitcoin. Like, that was a big reason that online sports betting was even able to get passed in the US.
Yeah, I agree. It will happen even if it was legal or illegal, but the precedent it sets for the American people is like, I don't think it's the correct path. I feel like it's, what am I trying to say?
I'm listening. Sorry, I'm just...
Gambling enables or it just preys on the weak or the poorest people in society to give money to a specific company. And it's a mathematical equation that it's not like you can win money. It's more like you're most likely, it should be promoted as you're most likely going to lose money than you can actually win money. And what percentage of people do you think are actually profitable in gambling? What's the percentage? Is it 0.01?
No, it's higher.
Is it less?
It's
than
higher
1%?
than day trading. No, it's higher than day trading.
Is it
the issue is
I'm
saying like I think it's like 5% or so sports bettors are profitable, which again isn't great, but you have to remember most people don't even track their bets.
Yeah,
it's like the barrier to entry. It's like 90% of sports bettors don't even know if they're up or down. So the barrier is so low to even most people don't try. Again.
But if more people if more people start tracking their bets, it's just going to change. The strategy is going to change again.
You said 5% is crazy. Imagine a 5% chance of winning. 5% gambling winning, that's crazy.
True. But, I mean, have you ever thought about starting a business?
Yeah, all the time. I try to start.
What's the probability the average person's business succeeds?
Probably, but gambling is
less than 5%.
It's more.
Well, why? You can lose money.
I mean,
it's definitely different.
You and what you
no,
put
your
in.
bets are on
Gambling
you.
is you're playing against the house that is trying to take your money and will take your money, and it's just an equation that they're putting. It's a formula
for sure.
So overall, like the people, it's a negative. It's
but you determine the prices you bet at, right? You determine if you want to take a bet or not. This isn't a slot machine where you're just losing 10% with every spin, right? Slot machines, okay, some people may disagree with this. Maybe there's some rigged slot machines, whatever. Who talked about that last time?
I think they all rigged.
But in general, especially online slots, they literally have something called RTP, return to player, and the casino just sets it at like 0.9, which means on average for every $100 bet, we only want to give back 90. We want to keep $10 to ourselves. Like, you can't beat
can't
that
win.
long term.
Yeah.
Or roulette, right? People like, they look at the board, they're thinking
That one
red,
green
black.
spot, yeah.
It's like, dude, the green spots
Yeah.
are why you're betting one to win one, but there's these green squares that clearly make it less than 50% that it's either going to be red or black. Sports betting is different in many ways, right? It depends on the price. It depends on a bunch of different things. So that's kind of my opinion. And I don't even disagree with you. Like, would America be better off if nobody gambled? I mean, probably. But like,
But that's like what I was saying. So I have used OddsJam. I've used your company in the past, and without having access to every sports book that might give you the best odds, it doesn't seem like it becomes profitable for you. And that's why I feel like day trading would be way more profitable. You can hedge a lot better because you're saying like, I mean, I know Goldman Sachs and all these other big companies, they can help to shift the price and kind of make it unfair for you. But I feel like in this scenario, the sports book itself that you're using, like say Prize Picks, would be Goldman Sachs in that scenario because they're setting the odds and they're setting these stuff up for you. If I were to buy early morning, I bought a call and a put instead of getting a spread or whatever.
a straddle.
Yeah, I'll straddle it. I can figure out which way it's going and sell when I'm in the green. And say I lose a
That
little.
assumes you get into the green.
I mean, it's gonna go one way or another.
Oh,
if I have
sure.
a call and a put,
Right,
one of
but
them is gonna
you
get
didn't
green.
necessarily make money if you pay $2 for the straddle and stock goes up 50 cents, right?
I mean, I feel like it's the same with the arbitrage that you're.
Well, no.
You're doing.
So California, I agree with you, unless you use Bovada, which it seems like a bunch of people in here used. Bovada, Bet Online, MyBookie. I mean, there's tons of offshore books. I don't want to condone that. California sucks for sports betting. It's way more profitable in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, arbitrage betting. Arbitrage is guaranteed money, right? You bet the over, you bet the under, you guarantee a profit because two books have such different odds. You cannot lose. It used to be profitable in crypto markets, but now the market's too efficient, right? You can't arbitrage Bitcoin. You can't arbitrage basically any crypto. The market's too efficient at this point. You can't buy Bitcoin on Coinbase at 50K and sell it on Fidelity for 55K. That's not a thing. I get your point that day trading may seem more accessible here, but that doesn't mean it's profitable, right? The difference is in sports betting, if I place an arbitrage bet, I'm guaranteed to make money. If you buy a straddle, you are not guaranteed to make money.
I think the range of money is a little different, where say I'm like you were talking about earlier, you have to bet with volume.
Right.
If you don't have access to that volume.
Why if you buy a straddle at $2, let's say you pay $2 for a straddle, right? Which means the market maker probably thinks the straddle's worth $1.50, $1.75. You're paying the bid-ask spread for not only one option, but two options. So let's say you buy this from a market maker like Goldman Sachs, Susquehanna, Citadel. You pay $2. Why do you think, first of all, I guess you're smarter than these like quant firms?
Describe that a little more. What do you mean?
Like they're the ones setting the prices. Why do you think you're smarter than them? Sports betting is very different because
Is the sports book not the one setting the odds though?
They are. But some of these books have like 5 employees, right? They're small operations. There's hundreds of sports books in the US, BetMGM, Caesars, whatever. They all have different prices. When I buy a straddle, maybe I pay $2. I'm trading against Goldman Sachs. I'm not trading, right? A quant fund in this market is very efficient. It's infinitely scalable. There's no limits. They can't cut off winning traders in trading. Whereas on sports books, again, the reason there are inefficiencies is if you're making money on Prize Picks, they'll cut down your bet size to $5 a bet, or they'll just ban you. I've been banned on sports books. I try to log in, place a bet, it says you're banned.
Right.
Literally, like they can't do that in financial markets, so they care about pricing a lot more. Also, Goldman Sachs is like a multi-hundred-billion-dollar company with teams of quants and whatever. Prize Picks isn't. They're just like throwing up random lines.
It's not really random though.
Somewhat an average of the market. And then they're just saying, we know we're going to lose. We're just going to limit profitable customers. Used to be able on Prize Picks, you could pair, again, it's crazy, a wide receiver, you could pair Puka over, Stafford over. 2 plays that are super correlated, and they would give you the same payout. Like if I take Stafford over Puka under, I should be getting a better payout because if Stafford goes over, Puka's main target is a lot more likely to go over. Prize Picks would give you the same payout. They didn't even really care because again, they're making 25% minimum profit margin on average off the average customer. So I guess my point is in trading, why is day trading not profitable? One, or much harder to make money in. I'm not going to say nobody can do it. There's definitely some quants in their room who can exploit certain markets. Definitely not the guys on Instagram flexing in their rented Lambo from Beverly Hills car rental. That doesn't work. But so in financial markets, you're trading against a really smart counterparty who really has to have perfect pricing because if they don't, it's not like a sports book where if someone's beating you, you can just cut them off. In trading, right, if you're constantly crushing someone, they still have to trade against you if they're the market maker. They're setting the quotes, the bid-ask spread, which is why market makers in these trading firms have such better technology and they really care about pricing. You can't just cut off winners in trading.
You can also, but you can go the same direction as these big quants too. So
yeah, but you're paying a different price.
But if they, like, say they want to drive the price down and I have a put, I'm going to make money on it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, okay, what I'm saying is everything revolves around fair value in trading, right? So, like, this is how I was taught to think when I worked on Wall Street. I think something is worth $2. I'm going to buy it for $1.75. I'm going to sell it for $2.25, right? And these are, multi-hundred billion-dollar companies with teams of quants, extremely good technology. They're seeing every order in the market and adjusting prices based on, all this different type of stuff. Like, it's very hard for someone to just sit on Instagram or on a live stream of some, guru trader who's probably selling a funded account or something like that, or affiliate links or a trading course. It's really hard to beat that.
Yeah, I guess my point is when it comes to versus like arbitrage or hedging.
Arbitrage is guaranteed money. If you could
I think the
do
difference
it
is
in
in
the
access.
stock market, if you could do it in the stock market, you would. I can't buy Robinhood stock at $10 on E-Trade and sell it for $11 on Fidelity. If that ever were the case, I would do it. But the market's too efficient because, again, there's no limits. They can't just cut people off, so the market has to be efficient. It's forced to be efficient. Whereas in sports betting, DraftKings doesn't really care if it's arbitrage with FanDuel because if you're arbing them and you make $100K doing it, like I have, or whatever amount, they'll just cut you off.
But I think the problem is, or it gets a little iffy with state governments and stuff. Like how we were talking about California. I don't have access to certain, sports books where I can actually make a profit. Sometimes I just have, two bad options. I may lose a little.
The state sucks. I'm from Virginia. Come join
Sometimes
me.
you don't have that option, Not everybody has that option,
No, I completely understand. Look, I do not disagree. I hate being here in terms of sports betting, especially when I was betting really seriously, because it's way worse. I completely agree. Thank you. We talked a lot about sports betting. I appreciate everyone who came. I wish we honestly had more time because we got through 15% of the questions, but that's okay. We had some big talkers. That's great. That's great. We had very good input, but regardless, I thought it was fun and interesting, so I appreciate everyone.